Hey everyone, Idiot RC here. Tonight we have kind of a unique video. I just want to do a real quick showing on how to fix random stuff around the house with a soldering iron, specifically plastic stuff. So this is a bracket from this guy. So it will attach over on this side just like this and slide back and forth. This is designed to attach to the headrest, the back of a headrest on a car. This holds a cooling fan, so I have a 1991 Oldsmobile Custom Cruiser station wagon that we use for family road trips, and it's a really cool car to take on road trips, but being an older car, it doesn't have rear AC, so this can clip to the back of the headset, and then a fan attaches right here, or headrest, and then a fan attaches right here, and it gives the kids some moving air. But of course, these days everything's made in China and everything's made with plastic, and these clips tend to break. And so what happened is, you can try to get some extra light here. You can kind of see there, I've already glued it, but this just broke off. And you can see I'm going to have to fix this one too. It's starting to crack. But these just crack and break off. The other one that is on the other side of the car, I've already had to do this too. So I've already glued it, but that glue will not hold up. It's Gorilla Glue, and it's fine for now, like this, but it won't hold up for very long. But what I have found with both these and lots of stuff around the house of plastic stuff, when plastic breaks, you can fix it a lot of times with your soldering iron. And I've got my soldering iron heating up right now. I'm going to 440 Celsius, which is, well, I don't know how to change the display on this. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit. Figure it out. But all I'm going to do is melt this plastic together, and I'm going to use a zip tie to kind of use that almost like you're welding. So the zip tie is kind of like your welding rod, and we're just going to kind of see if I can zoom in a little more here. We're just going to kind of weld that a little bit, if you will, and it'll give us a good connection. Now, it is worth mentioning, this is not great for your soldering tip. It is gonna cause your tip to probably wear a little sooner. You'll want to make sure you have something around to clean it off. But you know, tips aren't really that expensive. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna drag my iron along where the crack is, where I already glued this, and kind of go like this. And I'm just gonna get that surface roughed up and kind of start getting them melted together. And then I'll take my zip tie, and you know what, let's go ahead and just, where did I put those? Get a piece cut off there. And we'll just take our zip tie and set it on there and kind of melt it in. Now, it is worth noting, this is not going to be beautiful when it's done. I mean, you're definitely going to be able to tell it was repaired. But the idea is not for it to be beautiful. The idea is to not have to buy a new one, and for this to be strong enough to put back on the car. So you can see, where's the camera? The tip of my soldering iron has that plastic on it now, so again, you just want to make sure you keep that cleaned off. Don't let that sit on there too long. But we're just going to do that all the way around here. And you know, you can always go back after this with a file or something like that if you really want to, and kind of smooth it out. I don't much care. How it looks is not as important to me as how it functions. So that side's good. Let's go ahead and do the other side before we do the back. Sorry, I'm forgetting to look at the camera and make sure you can actually see what I'm doing. So again, just roughing that up and melting it together. And then we'll set our zip tie in that I should have not cut so short. Might have to get another piece. Now, this doesn't smell great, so keep that in mind. You might want to do this not in the house if your wife is the type to care about stuff like this. Smells like burnt plastic. Keep that tip clean. And there's that side. Now again, looks ugly, but it is durable. Now we're just going to do the back here. Now I'm not going to claim that this is like, you know, more durable or just as durable as before it broke, but it's a lot more durable than it is just with glue. And you know, I've done this with quite a bit of stuff, varying levels of success, but generally I should have generally, this is a semi-permanent repair. This thing specifically will probably break again at some point because it sits there on the back of the headrest and it gets knocked around as the kids getting out of the car. And when they were younger, they used to kick them a lot on purpose when they were sitting in their car seats because they discovered that, hey, I can reach something. So they've been through a lot, and they're really cheap. But sometimes you just get satisfaction in not having to buy a replacement for something when you can just do stuff like this and fix it yourself. This is very, very easy. You don't even have to know how to solder to do this. So if you're just starting out in soldering and maybe you have a soldering iron, but you're still not real comfortable with your soldering skills, this is something you can actually do to practice. It's not going to teach you how to solder better, but it'll kind of get you comfortable handling your soldering iron and stuff like that. And quite frankly, I think that this is just fun. So there we go. I'm not going to do this part because there's that rubber pad there, and I don't really want to take that off. And I think that this is going to be durable enough. That's not going to break on its own. So, how bad is this one cracked? It's cracked on both sides. It's not cracked underneath. So I'm not going to pull that one off. Actually, maybe I should. I'm not going to pull that one off, and I'm not going to glue it. We're just going to melt. Actually, this one, being that it's not broken yet, that's melting it kind of probably just like that is good enough, but it'd be easier if I would have taken it off. Now they make plastic welders. I think that's what they call them, as a plastic welder that is made for this kind of stuff. It essentially does the same thing. If you really want to buy a dedicated thing to do this, or you know, if you don't have a soldering iron and you don't plan on soldering, that might be a good deal. I've never actually used one, so I can't speak to how well they work. You know, in principle, in concept of it, it should work just fine. But also a lot of that stuff sometimes can be pretty gimmicky. But I am fixing plastic with a zip tie and a soldering iron, so who am I to talk about how bad something else is? So that's all there is to it. That now is fixed. It's not going to break, at least anytime too soon, and that should make the kids happy. So, had nothing to do with RC cars tonight, but kind of a cool thing to show you that you can do different things with your tools than what they're intended for. I need to not forget this because I did that. You know, I do want to take care of the tips of my soldering iron, so we'll tin that tip. Get that nice and set in. Turn the iron off. And just let that sit on there. That'll just kind of helps care for the tip of your soldering tip. Like I said, I have a whole bunch of tips. I don't worry too much about if they get damaged, they get damaged. I use a Weller. It's a 70-watt soldering station thing. I've had this for quite a few years. It works really well. Tips for it are like $3 or $4 a piece. So I don't waste too much time trying to do. You know, there's a whole bunch of stuff you can do to really make those tips last for a long time, and a lot of people get really anal over the care for them. I try to take care of it, but I don't get too crazy over it because it's cheap and easy. But maintain your tips, and other than that, lots of things you can do with a soldering iron. Have a good night, everybody.